quite simply the biggest moment of these youngsters' careers as the grid clears and leaves them with their thoughts. Let's talk tactics, Danny. The key surely is going to be this first lap, because we know what the signature boys can do, and Mortara has proven that he's quick, he doesn't make mistakes, or rarely anyway, and if they give him a chance, he'll take it.
Yeah, I think the key thing is, if you're leading the races, you really need to break the toe, because it's such a long way down to Lisboa Bend as you exit Fisherman's, R Bend to the final corner here, that it's so important that you don't let anyone get in your toe, because they will come up behind, they will have a look and go down the inside at Lisboa Bend. It gets very narrow there where the curb on the inside comes out, and that's where we see frequently a lot of shunts and accidents.
If you were, let's say, 19th on the grid, if you were a long way down, and there's a lot of guys on this particular grid, because of engine changes and because of passing under yellow or not slowing down and obeying the yellow, who've been knocked back 5 places, and they're quicker than their grid position shows. Now let's just put you in that position. How would you go about the race? Would you hold back and see what carnage ensues in the first lap, or would you just go for it? I'm just interested in the tactics.
Well, I think tactically, I think your engineer would need to take off a little bit of wing, because realistically we know that there's only one place to overtake around this circuit, into Lisboa, that we keep mentioning. So therefore you need a lot of top speed, and to achieve that you need to just eke out as much rear wing as you can. It might make it difficult in Sector 2, which is the mountain section with all the S's and the ups and the downs.
Nobody's going to get past you there.
But no one's going to overtake you there. So you've got to be looking at, you've got to overtake, and to achieve that you need to take wing off and have the best possible top speed.
Okay, let's go the opposite way. Let's go to the front now with Mortara and the men chasing him, Vantor alongside him. What difference in terms of, given that they're in the same team, will they set up their cars?
Well, first of all, there's going to be no team orders, is there?
Nope.
It's going to be a straight fight, which is great for us as spectators to see and watch, and it'll be interesting to see if they will work together on the first few laps to try and break away, or whether they're going to fight and go for it.
Well, we say Mortara's got experience, but of course Laurent Vantor's third visit too. He was 6th in 2008, 13th in 2009. Didn't have the best of seasons in the Euro Series, just 4 podiums, so he would love nothing else than to finish this on a high as we head off on the warm-up lap now. And away we go. This is the Formula 3, the big event of the 57th running of the Macau Grand Prix. The grand finale of the weekend, and the most important race for these young up-and-coming stars of the future. 19, as you quite rightly point out, of the 24 racers in Formula 1 have all raced the Macau circuit at some point in their careers, and hold this dear, the race that is the Macau Grand Prix. You were out on track today. How are the conditions out there?
Yeah, very warm. We've got air temperature here currently of 24, track temperature of 35, so it won't take much on this rolling up lap. As you can see, the drivers are weaving from side to side to get heat into the tyres, and also the brakes before the start. Notoriously low grip early in the week here at Macau, with all the buses and the taxis and the road cars that use it. And in fact, at 6 o'clock at night, they're back on circuit. So you find throughout the course of the weekend, the circuit gets grippier and grippier, and you have to factor that into account when making setup changes. But and the times you'll see, we'll probably get the fastest lap of the weekend in the race today, where we've had all the support races today. The circuit is gripping up nicely.
So then there's your grid. Montoya and Vantor, Daniel Abt, Valtteri Bottas in 4th position for Finland, Marco Wittmann of Germany, Renger van der Zende of the Netherlands, Jean-Eric Verne of France, Carlos Huertas of Colombia, Antonio da Costa, Daniel Junquedella of Spain, Felix Rosenqvist, who's raced here before, Philip Nasser likewise in BMW, Jasmine Jafar has raced here before, representing Malaysia. Indonesia are alongside with Haryanto, Foresti of Brazil, Carlos Munoz also in trouble over the weekend, but there, Kunimoto, Suzuki, the 2 Japanese, Will Buller has had all sorts of dramas the winner of the Formula BMW race here last year, Yamauchi Meri, Roberto Meri, the man who was 5th or running 5th here last year. This is his 3rd time. Adelaide Fong and Michael Ho. Kimiya Sato and Alexandre Imperatori, the Swiss driver who's been racing in Japan. Hugh Lloyd on the grid for the first time representing Great Britain and Wales. Ollie Webb and Sims, Alexander Sims, those are 2 of the guys that I expect to come through because their qualifying position or their position for this race belies their capabilities. They came together, of course, in the qualification race, and that's why they're at the back.
Yeah, and like you say, they're certainly going to be quick and ones to watch coming through, and I'm sure they're going to be a maximum attack. They've got 15 laps to get through the field, but a lot of work to do from back there.
So here we go then. Tense moments for these youngsters. Mortara with a chance to head into the history books as the first man ever to win back-to-back Formula 3 titles. And boy, is he odds on to do it. If we are in the gambling capital of the world, he's got to be a 2-to-1 favourite. But having said that, you might just get longer odds because of the circumstances and because of the hunger of those behind and the sheer nature of this event. Never say never here, right?
You're absolutely right there as we see the drivers line up on the grid. And this is where, as from a driver's perspective, your heart starts to beat. Focusing on the lights, just a quick glance in the mirror to see when the last few cars are lining up.
That's the problem, they take a long time to line up.
And it's important not to go into first gear too early and overheat the clutch.
Calm before the storm very much. 1954 it all began, and here we are in 2010. And once again, a hero in the making. Who will it be? Mortara looking to be immortalized in the history of the sport by going back-to-back. Vantor trying desperately to beat him, his teammate, Abt, Bottas, Whitman and Van der Zandt. But that's just the guys leading at the moment. Anything can happen in the next 10 seconds, and probably will. And go the lights, we're racing again! Mortara gets a much better start than he did in the qualification race. But they're chasing both of the leaders down early on. Everybody flies through the first corner, but there is trouble at the back. A crash already involving, what, 5 cars? Maybe even 6 cars. And it looks as though somebody stalled off the line and has been rear-ended.
Alexander Sims involved in that.
Meanwhile, Mortara is holding off a chasing pack, and Abt is the man that's done it again. And he's right there in second place and vying for the lead as they go down to Lisbon for the first time. Abt does turn into second place and pushes out one of the signature boys, but they're 3rd and 4th, and another faller at Lisboa, so to speak, as he hits the tyre wall. But Mortara has got away well. Now the question is, can they clear off these cars before the end of the lap? I doubt it. 13 and 11, that is Michael Ho and Alexander Sims.
Well, to me it looked as if Michael Ho had stalled and Alex Sims had nowhere to go. He was unsighted.
Well, Michael Ho was ahead on the grid. Yeah, here we go again. Look, look. Yep, he's stuck there. Actually, there was a couple of cars who didn't make it off the line. So, safety car, no surprise there, because you've no way, as Richard Dutton watches on, there's no way you're going to get those cars off. 24 is one of the other cars, and that's Carlos Munoz, who's had, for High-Tech and Colombia, a rotten weekend, really. He was one of the guys who was knocked back 5 places and also had a crash earlier in the weekend. Well, here we are. It's the Macau Grand Prix. We're under safety yet again. Let's first of all hope that both those drivers are okay, because a shunt like that, even though it doesn't look, well, it looks innocuous at the moment, you never know. That was, I've got a feeling that was Daniel Juncadella, the young Spaniard, involved in that incident.
And that's 2 Raikkonen and Robertson racing cars out already.
Yes, both teammates, of course. So the safety car comes out and the clock ticks down, and as it does, this is playing into the hands of the leader at the moment, Mortara. I'm surprised the drivers haven't got out of the cars, but then again, you never know. And the safety car is going to take the whole field into the pit lane. Now, they won't be able to stop, of course, because we're still racing. And he'll drive straight through. So strange times indeed. But they're trying to extract Michael Ho as quick as they can. In his language, that wasn't so ho-ho. Antonio Felix da Costa going through. Looks as though they're getting there. No, they'll keep them together. Boy, he hit him hard, didn't he? Well, I've never heard of a tandem effort by one team, but you never know. Bizarre scenes here as the race continues in the pit lane. Out they go and round they go. Everybody in and out. Number 19 is the last man out as we go back on board. Under the bridge here and back up the hill, but under safety, of course. How fast are you going when you're under safety? Not very fast.
Not really. You're kind of dictated to by the safety car, which has varying levels of pace depending on who's driving it, at what circuit. But certainly for you as the driver, it's important at this stage to keep the tyres at a high temperature, keep the pressure up, ready for the restart, heat into the brakes. And that's why you'll see the cars weave from side to side, generating that energy through the tyre.
How quickly does the pressure go down?
Well, it's not so bad here because we've got a high ambience and a high track temperature, so it's not too bad, but they do drop temperature, and you'll find from a driver's point of view, you lose grip, and it's just when you commit to the first corner, in this case down at Lisboa, when you hit the brakes for the first time, you want the maximum amount of grip that you possibly can.
A very unhappy Michael Ho. He was so excited to meet the chief executive, and he's not so happy to be leaving his car. A big provider of racing and doing the racing himself. He runs Champ Car Motorsport and has been involved in the Asian scene for a long time now.
Well, as I look out of the commentary booth now, it looks like they've nearly cleared all the stricken cars out of the way, so we may go back racing very, very soon.
Well, there's certainly time for race control to give the all clear. We'll soon find out.
And yes, safety car in this lap.
Okay, what we need to know. So then we come down slowly but surely out of the Melco to the fastest part of the circuit. When those lights go out, we'll be sure that that is the case. And now Mortara will hold them back. But he needs to be careful, but because Abt has been scintillatingly fast, and you just wonder whether this could be the defining moment in the next minute or so of the race. Because Daniel Abt is not slow at getting a start for Signature. Abt had a good season too, and he too wants to finish it off on a high.
And Mortara's gone early.
He has gone early, and Abt is trying to go with him. But here we go, green flags waved, and Mortara's on his way down towards Lisboa.